What's up friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Migu and I'm a polyglot who makes videos about productive language learning. And today's video is going to be about how to improve your pronunciation and sound more like a native speaker. Just to give you an idea of what I sound like, check this out. What's up friends, welcome to my channel, my name is Migo, sou portugais, j'ai nasci aqui no Luxembourg, vielleicht kennt ihr Lützebusch, ou peut-être vous pensez qu'il s'agit d'une petite province en Allemagne, oder ihr kennt es überhaupt gar nicht, naja, egal. 저는 다른 언어를 말하는 거 정말 좋아요. I speak 6 languages in total. Kann ich verstehen, falar 6 línguas pratiquement tous les jours. Klingt klasse, nicht wahr? Mas não foi fácil chegar a este ponto. 그런데 나처럼 말하고 싶죠? Je suppose eu. Ich weiß, wie schwer das einen Spruch zu lernen. Mais avec les bonnes astuces, alles ist möglich. 그래서 어떻게 하는지 알려줄게요. So, check out my videos, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye. But before we start, check out my Ko-fi page. There's some free stuff for you guys, and the link's down below in the description box. First things first, not many people can speak in a foreign language with a native-like or even almost native-like accent. But that's okay. I think that a foreign accent adds a character. And when I lived in France, for example, it was always a nice surprise to see the reactions of French people realizing that I wasn't actually French and tried to guess where I was from because of my accent. And there were never ever bad experiences related to my accent. Accents are a part of you and you should proudly embrace them. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't work on your pronunciation as early as possible, because people in the end have to understand you, right? But don't worry, I'm gonna show you how to improve your pronunciation. It's not that difficult, but you do need to practice. I'm gonna first talk about the kind of mentality you have to have when you start working on your pronunciation, and then I'm gonna give you some of my favorite tips. Here we go. Pretty provocative title. What I mean is, stop sounding and behaving like a speaker from your own country. Sounds kinda silly, and it should be kinda obvious, but it isn't. Not when you are in school, also not after you leave. And I'm speaking from personal experience here, because most of my classmates and work colleagues from primary school up to university, even now, they would all sound the same, and occasionally would make fun of people who wanted really to sound more like a native speaker in a foreign language. It's the weirdest thing ever, right? Seriously, only a select few would sound almost native-like right from the start, because they did one very simple thing. They started to embrace a new culture. They stopped being just themselves and they stopped identifying themselves with their own culture. I'm sure you've heard that people that speak multiple languages act in different ways, and that's true. People who successfully acquire languages are people who spend a considerable amount of time with native speakers, embracing a new culture, and so they let themselves be influenced by how people speak, how they behave, and that has a big impact on how they will sound. It all starts with this mindset. Alright, as a beginner up to low intermediate, you gotta make sure that you spend a considerable amount of your time improving your reading skills and your listening skills at the same time. I have made a very detailed video about how to do it, so I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already, and there's only practical tips in that one. Really make sure that you practice both skills at the same time, because let's not make it any harder than it actually is. We need to know what things are supposed to sound like right from the start. Isolating both skills is something you are gonna do at a later stage, and definitely not in the beginning, or at least you shouldn't spend much of your time working on your reading skills and listening skills separately. The sooner you start working on your pronunciation, the better, because habits are gonna be harder to change later on. So remember, you need to know what things are supposed to sound like right from the start. Practice your reading skills and listening skills at the same time. Now, isolated words, they do not sound the same in sentences. After all, words, they live in sentences, and for example, if you're learning Portuguese, then you know how totally different words sound when they're being said in sentences. In French, the liaison, the way you link two words in a sentence, is ridiculously important. This makes it really tough for beginners to identify where a word starts and ends. I remember my French teacher being really impressed by my reading skills, but I was so shocked when she told me that I had no respect whatsoever for this liaison, the way you link words in sentences. So what she recommended was that I do lots of shadowing and read out loud exercises at a natural speed. Guys, the slower you read, the more difficult it's gonna be to pronounce the words correctly. Don't forget that. Basically, that's what I did, and for many years I was always the first one to raise my hand to tell the teacher, yes, I'm the one who wants to read. And needless to say, focusing on sentences rather than isolated words improved my pronunciation skills considerably. It's not really necessary to look up patterns because it's definitely possible to learn them through lots of reading and listening practice, but it isn't the worst idea ever to do it anyway. So do it. Shadowing is an all-time favorite technique of mine and super popular at that. I've made a video about 5 fun ways to practice languages alone. That video might help you quite a bit, so don't forget to check it out. Therefore, I'm gonna keep this brief. My personal favorite are podcasts with transcripts between multiple people. So what I usually do is I pick the character I like most. Usually it's the one I identify myself with the most, and I start imitating him or her. This is not only a great way to practice your pronunciation, but it's also going to improve your reading and listening skills, and it's also going to make you learn vocab in context. Research says that people who sing or even roleplay sentences tend to perform better than people who don't. And karaoke is great, but even better are stories with audio, usually fairy tales or audiobooks with transcripts. But I guess you can pick up anything you like. By the way, don't just imitate what is being said, also imitate how it's being said, and also the movements and facial expressions if possible. Let the language influence you. Is it true Tiny Italian man's hands and he won't speak? Let me know down below. We are all very curious. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to watch a few more. Thanks for watching, it really means a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave lots and lots of comments, and don't be afraid to ask questions, of course. And if you want to support me, share it with fellow language learners, family and friends, and you can also directly support me on coffee.com/HeyIt'sMigu. And I guess I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.